Artisan Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Midwest Artisan. I'm your host, Andy Hinkle.
And I'm your co-host, Dalton McCleary.
Dalton, I feel like I say this every time, but it's been far too long. The world's different.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So there's that meme going around of the Christmas break, the AI break, and then how everyone came back after Christmas break and everything's different. And I felt like this is our fifth time, from counting correctly, that we've tried to get together. It was just, It's finally so nice to get together. One of these days we'll have to get together in person and go to a hockey game or something. It'll be fun. But
tip me with a good time,
man. So real quick, how they doing? What's their like? I don't get too in the details, but like this is Evansville Thunderbolts, right?
Evansville Thunderbolts. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing pretty damn good.
Good.
They're doing pretty good. I think they're like second or third in the league right now. We're going to see a hockey game tomorrow.
Nice.
Pucks and paws.
All right.
So I will report back. Well, I don't have a dog, but they bring dogs, right?
Okay, bring your cat.
Yeah. Well,
let's see. Yeah,
we'll see.
How's it going,
we
man?
need to. We need to.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It's been way too long. Apparently, I can do this now.
AI
is crazy, man. Look at it. Whoa.
Are you still using Claude? Are you a Claude guy?
I use Claude every second of my life.
Okay, so
I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I use it only for work. I try to not use any AI stuff outside of work. If you can believe that. Yeah, I try really hard not to in my personal life.
Tell me about a personal project then. You're crafting by hand. You're using a pen and pencil, right?
Pencil. I don't even know how to write my name anymore.
Pen and paper. I
haven't picked up a thing. Like here's the only thing that I do is I watch TV and I'll read some books. Like,
yeah,
just so the typical like boring Midwest 30-year-old white dude thing. You know what I mean?
You use AI at work. So do you use? Yeah. So when you're in your personal projects, if you have any personal projects, you don't use any AI at all?
No. I do use AI for personal projects, but like if I'm not at my desk and I'm like sitting on the couch doing something, I try really hard not to use AI for anything.
Okay.
Like I just do it old school. I'm gonna search Reddit, I'll search Twitter, whatever I need to do. I'm gonna do it the old school way. But if I'm sitting at my desk, I even bought new monitors. I've got 2 new monitors and a third monitor. I've got terminals over here. I've got terminals over here. I'm orchestrating all kinds of stuff when I'm sitting at my desk.
Gotcha.
Everything.
So if you're using Claude, are you using Codex at all? Like in your development?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, because I'd love to talk like workflows and how you like set your stuff up. Because I feel like for me personally, it's changing every day. And so I'm trying
that again.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I feel like find the nice workflow. But also, I feel like on Twitter, somebody comes out with a new tool every day. Like some of them are good, and it's just like a lot of it's like, hey guys, use this, use that. And like sometimes I just like opening up the raw terminal and just letting it rip, and just letting Claude be Claude instead of having it to. Yeah, but anyway,
I don't need fancy things. Well, hang on. Before we get into that, how are you, my guy? I didn't ask. How are you?
I'm good. I'm 5 weeks away from a newborn son, so hopefully we have another show. I feel like we'll see. If everything is like my other son, which they say that second one is kind of a wild card, so we'll see. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm looking forward to that. I just got back from Illinois, which is the headquarters of Wilbur where I work with. Hung out with Boss Jake and the rest of the crew for the week. Just got back yesterday, so it was a great time. Really like
shout out Boss Jake.
Just going out there, spend some time, and so it's always good. It's always refreshing going there. You just feel the energy of being in the office, and so that's cool. We're doing a ton of AI stuff. See, I love it. I've been having so much fun. It's probably the most fun I've had programming in many years.
Oh, really?
It's a ton of fun trying to figure this stuff out. So I'd love to dig into that.
All right, let's do it. We got the niceties out of the way. The internet knows that we don't hate each other. Let's
love to talk about workflows, because I feel like that's where I would love to get because I know you love a good workflow.
Yeah, same.
So you want to go first? You're okay. Let me run this. Let me run a scenario, right? And
Yes.
then I want to know how you do it, right? Okay. So, boss man comes in, says, "Hey, we have this new feature. I wrote this issue up for you. Can you get it to me? Whatever." So, you're said, "Okay, I'm gonna write some code," or maybe write some code. I don't know. But what's your workflow from here? Yeah, what's your workflow from this either like through fixing a bug or just like somebody comes with you a task, like, well, where do you start?
All right. So we use, this is going to suck. So just try not to cringe hard. We use Jira for our
Mhm.
tickets. So we've got a nice like Jira workflow that we're working on. And so I use the Jira MCP, like the
Okay.
tool in my Claude code. But
Yep.
typically what I do is I'm a raw terminal guy. I don't like the fancy stuff. Like I have what do I have? I use Warp. Warp
Or
is
okay.
the terminal that I use. So I'll open up a new Warp session, do my Claude code. I'll say, hey, pull in, ticket 1234, read the description, outline the plan. Let's go through the plan, whatever. It'll
Mhm.
start spinning up. And usually at that point, I'm like, cool, let's do another Jira ticket. So I'll have usually 2 to 3 different Claude sessions open up on my Warp terminal with 3 to 4 different Jira tickets, right? Pulling in stuff,
Yeah.
doing its thing, doing its plan. I always plan first. There is no
Yep.
way in hell you would ever catch me opening a new Claude session not in plan mode. I always plan everything
So
before I do it.
is it like Claude -- plan, or you just kind of like Claude then
You
flip over
can
to plan?
you could set the default in Claude. So anytime I
Oh,
initialize
that's cool.
Claude,
I didn't
it
realize that.
starts in plan mode. Yeah.
Nice.
So anything, I basically just like, hey, and now I have a microphone, like a little microphone. So every time
Yeah.
I'll start up a new session, I'll hold down a button. I'll say, hey, let's
Mhm.
talk about Jira ticket 123, and I'll let go of it. Pops it in there and starts working.
Okay, let's talk
Right?
about that. What is that in your own app? Because Claude has their own integration now.
They do.
I couldn't get it to work.
I don't like it.
Okay,
I don't
so you
like it.
tried
I
it. I couldn't
use
even
I
get it.
use Super Whisper. Is that the
Hey,
one I
it's the
use?
same one. Awesome.
Super
Yeah.
Whisper. Yeah, I
Yeah,
paid for
which is
Super Whisper Pro,
okay.
so I
So you
used the
pay
nice
for it.
model.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've yet to pay for it. I'm curious
Yeah.
to hear about the benefits of that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
okay, tell me, because all right. So a huge fan of Super Whisper.
Same.
So on your side, you use Super Whisper. You talk to Claude. What are the benefits of like subscribing to it? Well,
I found
first off,
that
how much is the prescription? The subscription.
prescription.
It's a drug. No, just, yeah.
Well, they gave me so I trialed it and they gave me like a 20% off coupon when my trial got done. So I think
Mhm.
after the coupon it was $60 for a year.
Okay. Okay. So it's a fixed price. It's not like pay
Yeah,
for what you
I don't pay
use.
for the
Okay.
models. Or I
Okay.
hope I don't. I bought it like Monday of this week, so it's only been like 5-6 days since
Okay.
I bought
Got
it. So
So
I
what are you
don't.
finding on it? So
Before I was using its like low end model, whatever thing, and it would, I don't know if it's my dialect or the way that I talk, my Midwestern accent, it would confuse a lot of the things that I say. Like,
Larryville. That's
dude,
always
it did that. It
yeah.
pronounced, I said, let's look at this Laravel project. It wrote it as, a larval, right? Like
Oh,
like an
yeah.
egg,
Literal.
larval. Like
Yeah.
that's not right. Dude.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I talk about Laravel all the time. I don't need to be talking about
I get
Laravel.
Larryville, like the
I
guy
hate
Larry.
that.
Larryville.
I
Yeah.
hate that. So yeah, I bought
They,
it and it's much better at dictation than the free whatever model it is. Way better.
Yep.
Way better. Worth the
Sweet. So
$60 for me.
sounds like so it's more accurate. But that sounds like we have
Yeah.
very similar workflow so far. So you pull up
Mhm.
Claude. Well, you put it in planning mode. I just let it
yeah.
rip. I just yeah. All right.
You balls to the wall.
But sometimes I do planning mode most of the time, so I probably should do that. And you go right into voice dictation mode, which I also do. So awesome. So where do you lead it from
Mhm.
there?
I'll go through the entire plan session. Like I do not let Claude Code change anything until I've read through all of the plan and I really understand what it's doing. It's so
Mhm.
tempting to go, okay, the ticket's here, all of the stuff's in the ticket, just go. Because at that point, it's cool, you can get done or whatever. But I'm still very, and I know you're this way too. Like I'm very particular about my conventions.
Formatting. Yeah.
Yeah, like it has to be the way that I want it to be, because who knows when Claude Code's going to go down? I'm going to have to go back to the old school way of writing code, and it's going to write all of my stuff in service classes and instigate into singletons in my service provider. And that's just not how I work. That's not my workflow. So I have to like specifically tell it, which I have guardrails now, right? I have a bunch of skills and docs to sort of help it guide to be the way that I want it to write. But typically I'll go through the whole plan, usually 3 or 4 revisions of the plan. Then I say, oh, cool, open it up in a work tree and do that for me. Let me know when it's done. Write your tests, verify the tests, make everything good. If it's good, cool. Let's put a PR. Let's submit that to staging and get that pushed up. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 tickets at a time. Right.
Wow. Okay. At a time. Interesting. Okay.
At a time.
So a few questions. Do you at file reference, like, you can write the at in the keyboard, you can reference a file directory. Do you do that a bunch?
No.
You don't use it at all? Okay.
No.
So
I almost exclusively just talk to it. I don't even know why I have this keyboard anymore. You know what I mean? Like I could just get a macro pad and just be like, talk 1, 2, 3, 4, or no, or yes. Right?
Okay.
Copy paste.
I do have a couple post questions like after, which I'll get to.
Okay.
So, all right. So you don't use any at references.
No.
And then you go through and you kind of revise it a few times. Are you a skill guy? Do you like, hey, reference the front end skill? Okay. Tell me about your skill bag. What do you like to use?
Oh, I got a lot of skills, but I don't know what they all do. That's probably the one thing that I'm not great at is like, oh, can we just get a skill for this? Like my boss Jeff, he's great at skills. So ironically, I'm pretty sure most of the skills that I use, boss Jeff wrote. So he has stuff like comparison skills for databases, database reading stuff, validation, all kinds of weird stuff. Backfills for scripts to make sure that databases don't have drift between the 2 tables and replicas. I'll use a lot of those, right? Because a lot of the work that I've been working in the last, I think since we talked, the last 3 months have all been like database architecture stuff, like replications and aggregation tables and all of this crazy complex stuff. So I just basically use all of the skills that Boss Jeff wrote. Okay,
cool. So it's more organizational level skills.
Yeah, a lot of guardrail skills. Like, hey, you do this one thing, and here's some parameters. Like, here's a query skill, and then some parameters. It's not like hyper specific of, I need to query this one table this one way. There's not one skill that does that. It's sort of a generic skill that you can pass stuff to. Like, hey, query this table and compare it to this table. We've got skills like that.
One thing I've been considering is organizational rules. Like, so for example, just about 99, if not, just pretty much every time when we're working on one of our projects at work, we have about 20 or so different apps. When we're working on those, if we're reaching to a third-party API, sometimes those apps are even talking to each other. Many times, actually, one app's talking to another over API, whatever. We use the gateway pattern, which is like you put a fake in front of it, but locally and in test. So there's like a provider, and it determines, hey, are you on local or on production? And then it decides, if you are on local, you can actually do a bypass. If you like need to test your API on your local copy or something, you can set an env variable, whatever. So, but if not, it goes to this facade or this gateway pattern kind of thing, and it determines like, okay, you're going to go to the fake, and then the fake is like, it just returns an array of like what the object looks like, a theoretical thing. You can use faker in there, like a pattern or whatever you like. Sometimes you can pass it specific values to get the result you want for like, if you wanted to return a a rate limited thing, you can return it 4, 5, 6 instead of 1, 2, 3, and just something very exact, so we have like these different rules, or trying to get these different values returned. And so one thing I've been thinking about is creating a skill to for like when we're writing a new API, because I kind of have to tell it like, use the gateway pattern, here's an example, but it'd be cool if like it just like when it picked up on anytime you kind of interact with the HTTP facade or kind of thing, that you're reading through our organizational rules to understand how we do the gateway pattern, something like that. So because right now we have it written up in like of how to do it, but actually making that into a proper skill. So that's kind of like, my wheels spinning, like doing something like that, So organizational. We talked about a little bit internally about having some rules of how we traditionally like to do things. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you have like a documentation knowledge base of
It's
like
kind
the
of like
whole app structure?
Yeah, we do. It's kind of we definitely need to go back and revise some of it's like from it's really good on a lot of it. We do have a really good structure on it, but it's like some of it's about 8 years old, so it's like some of the old ways of doing it. So definitely we could make just like a skills repository or something for like organizational wide. That'd be kind of cool. Is kind of the idea, and then somehow it'd be cool if like you could publish it and it just automatically stays up to date. You don't have to like git pull or anything, but you could publish it through like GitHub or something privately, and then it just constantly stays up to date with your organization. I'm sure something like that out there exists, so I'm thinking a little bit about that.
Well, dude, by the time this podcast comes out,
I know it's changing.
it's going to be built.
Yeah, it's going to be here. So we'll see.
You're going to be outdated and look stupid. Like, oh, you had to use OpenClaw 4.0.7. It does this now.
Opus 4.7 before. Yeah, I use I use front end skill a lot.
Okay.
It likes the color purple. I don't know why.
Of
and
course.
Blue. Have you seen that?
Of course.
It likes gradients in purple and blue. Yeah.
It loves purple. So, I have to explicitly tell it to stay the hell away from purple.
I kind of have to iterate on it. It kind of provides me a good idea of like, and then I drag into Figma and just kind of shape it up and then share a screenshot of like where I want it to, what I want to fix, or I just explicitly tell it.
Do you still use Figma? You're not having like Claude mock up something for you to look at and go, okay, that's the one, not that one.
Well, Figma has its own AI tool now, and so I used to just manually do like back when AI just was kind of in rough shape. I used to just manually by hand do it in Figma, but now they have a thing called Make, and you could just copy paste a screenshot into it. I use that a bit, and then it kind of gives me a general direction, and then it's not perfect, and so but then it at least gives me the base UI, and I can move things around or whatever I need to do. And I know there's like Figma MCPs. I haven't really gotten to that, but I usually just take a screenshot of it and send like, let's try this instead, or I'm just kind of explicit, like, hey, move that icon over here, give it an eyeball icon for view or for an edit, get a little pencil, just something like that, just to give it a little bit of character. Or I just tell it like, completely rethink this, creative freedom, like it looks terrible, and it give it another try to get to go again.
Garbage. So how mean are you to your applause then?
I think using voice dictation does kind of help from typing all in caps, or just it does make it does give you a little anxiety of yelling over the mic, so I don't try to yell. So I think using Super Whisper does help with that, preventing typing all in caps. Like, no, this is the third time I've told you not to use a service class, or whatever. So it's because you know how I feel about service classes, but
I feel the same way, bro.
Yeah,
the same way.
But it's just like, it's we just have to keep it controlled and whatever. So yeah. So you with the skills, so do you have any skills that you wrote yourself? Because I have a special one I'd like to talk about.
The only like cool one that I have is I have a release skill, like a changelog skill that I'm like, okay, I'm ready for a release. Go ahead and prepare for a release for me. And it'll go to GitHub. It'll find all of the commits from the last release version. I've got it tagged in GitHub. Find all the commits from that point to now, summarize them, without putting any, internal application specifics, right? Because users are going to read this. Write up a cool new entry in my changelog. And then tag the new version of GitHub and push that up. That's probably the coolest one that I got. It's so simple because it's just like, okay, ready for release? Cool, release this. Write the changelog for me, make it user readable, tag it in GitHub, push that change up, ready for release.
Nice.
Ready for deployment.
Yeah.
I hate that it does that. Cool. I got to turn that off.
I have quite a few just random skills that I wrote myself. So
Skillshare. Don't sue us, Skillshare.
Skillshare. Yeah. My favorite. Do we want to start off with my favorite?
No, let's build to it. Let's build to it. Give me the lowest one. Let's string this along.
I have one for PHP stand. It's short and sweet. because occasionally Claude will just put a PHP stand ignore or add it to the baseline. And so
Mhm.
I'm like, actually fix the issue. If and then I have some rules in there, like if it's vendor related or if it's kind of hacky of how you fixed it, let me know. Otherwise, like figure it out and go fix it. It's level 5. Like PHP stand, you can
Right.
figure it out.
Right.
But if it's at a vendor level and you're hacking the vendor, I want to know about that. Like so.
Yeah, don't do that.
Um, then I have one for reviewing. For reviewing, like Claude has one. Claude has one for reviewing, and it's all right. But I have some special things I like to just be aware of as well. Of like, just understanding if there's any patterns that we can consolidate, like anything that's reused that we can
Okay.
abstract, make it cleaner.
Yeah, I like that one. That makes
Like
sense for you. That
one
makes
thing that
sense.
Claude, one thing that Claude just doesn't do when reviewing, actually doesn't even go look at the issue and read it to understand the context. It's just like, oh, I'm looking at the change and I could see the change and I'm describing the difference and I'm understanding the difference of that. It's not actually looking at the issue to understand like, hey, all our business requirements completed in the issue. And so I have that. Like it actually goes and reads the GitHub issue and understands the problem.
Good.
Um,
Good.
it also double checks that a PHP stand is solid, that there's no hackiness around it. It looks up the like if a developer wrote ignore it, like can it actually fix it or not, like, or is this truly ignored. So linting issues, which I'll talk about that. That's actually the kind of the big one I like to do. I do one called /commit. What /commit does, the skill for that one, is it creates a commit, but it creates a commit in the way that I would create one. It's just, it's short and sweet, but it's describing the problem because I would just write whip everywhere on all my commits before. Now when I'm running to a point, I just write /commit and it describes the what and the why, not just, if you tell Claude to write a commit for you, it'll say like, I adjusted user controller.php or update user controller, and it's not actually telling it the what or why of what it's actually doing. And so something like add email to verification or add email verification to registration, something like that. So I have a skill for that.
Okay, that's not a bad one because I still write all of my commit messages myself.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you see a lot of my commit messages from before. Mine are updates controller to do this.
Yeah. And a lot of times I don't even really look at the commit message. So I don't even think the commit message to me nowadays is, in a video game, like a checkpoint. Like, I'm going to checkpoint this. I'm going to like, oh, I got to a checkpoint. I'm going to save here because if I screw something up, I want to, what I have
go
an
back.
alias called I want to roll back. Just kill it all. I want to roll back to my save game checkpoint. Other than that, I read, like, we squash all of our commits into the PR name, and so when you're looking at it in master, you can see like, oh, this was this feature instead of it being look at its whip. So yeah.
Whip it real good.
Yeah, my favorite skill, I use this one all the time, and it's called the Otwell polish.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
it used to just be called polish. And I was listening when Taylor he wrote the AI SDK, and he said he wrote all of it by or with Claude, and then he said at the end he gave it a little Otwell polish, and I had it just called polish. And I love just when he called it himself, like the Otwell polish, because we all know what he's talking about, and my coding philosophy is heavily inspired by that. And so I have one. It's called it's Otwell polish, and it's like a list of like 30 rules of just things that
it's
I'm
big.
opinionated. Yeah, it's a very
Okay.
lengthy one. Usually, like when I'm running through Cloud, I'm like reference the Otwell, polish. Like this is usually after it's completed it, just to see if there's any refinement in here. It'll be things like temporary variables, arrays to collections. It would be something like just looking at some other ones. Oh, fluent chaining methods. I love a good chain. Like
yep. Same.
So like like one thing in particular is like, if you're looking up users, somebody might write like user : query, and then like, for a variable tag of query, they'll like, variable query with a user query, and then later on they'll say if the user if the request is has an active, and then it'll say like query where this, and so but instead of doing it, actually building it in a chain, and so using like user : query, then say when like the request is active when this, instead of building it out. So it's just like all these rules that Claude just kind of does what it wants, instead of or it kind of, sometimes it actually writes in a great way, but sometimes it just kind of all. So at the end I just tell it, kind of looking for any refinement by these given rules. And so it'll be like, don't add custom actions to controllers, like only have index, show, store, all those. Don't write some custom thing, because sometimes Claude loves to do that. And then what I'm trying to also train it is, the moment it does that, it puts it over in a service class. So then I've been trying to like, it's constant refinement. That's why it's gotten pretty long. So that's my favorite one. I'll polish.
Love that.
So
well polish.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. So yeah, Jake asked me if I've told Taylor about it, and I was like, no, I might mention it, but he'll probably crack up.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
Laravel should have this too, because honestly, I'd pay for something like that. If Taylor wrote his own skill of like how he writes code, I'd take my money. I'd pay for this, like for a skill. Aaron Francis has a great course right now, faster.dev. Shout out Aaron Francis. Faster.dev. It's like a course on how to use AI in development. And then there's a bunch of skills below that. And one thing what I saw on there is the counselors. Have you heard of this? The counselors?
I have not.
Counselors is a really neat concept. So it's a package, or it's like a CLI thing you can install. You can so if you're in a prompt and you're getting mixed results in your planning process, you just don't like it, you can say, hey, go ask the counselors. And what it'll do is it'll go out to Codex, it'll go out to Gemini, all these other AI things you can set up, and it'll ask, basically re-ask it. It'll ask the same thing, and it all comes back to Claude and like centralized, and it says, hey, Gemini said this, Codex said that, like here's what I recommend, or would you like me to implement any of these into your plan? So you're like asking the counselors.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like I have a MCP sequential thinking. I think we talked about that before, where it'll like Claude will ask itself questions to try to understand what the problem is. It sounds a lot like that, but going out and asking other things. Yeah. Hey, go ask Codex. What does Codex think?
Right, which is kind of a funny thing.
That's
like,
actually
go ask your competitors what they're doing.
Yeah. Hey, I don't trust you. Can you ask somebody? Can I talk to your boss?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat. I've only used it with Codex a couple of times, and I've really liked that. Of like, usually it's on some more complex stuff. But I'll tell you, like, go ask, like what, more or less, like go, I need to know what I need to know what Codex thinks of this. And instead of copy paste everything what we've been talking about, I just bring in that in, and it simply reaches out to that, and it comes back with a response. So it's really nice. He has I think like 50 skills on that site. He has all sorts of different ones. Of like, one is a finalized skill. I've been thinking about that. I kind of have one, with my polish kind of in my refinement kind of thing, my review. But like one finalized, just to make sure everything is up to snuff before you want to make a PR, or if you're reviewing it, make sure everything's great. So yeah, man, skills are fantastic.
Powerful.
Yeah, and okay, so real quick, let's talk. So we went way off there. So okay, your workflow, you
right us back in.
You are in Warp. You use Claude. You mentioned you use a little bit of Codex, right?
Occasionally. So like, I try to keep my separation of concerns. I'm a big guy of separations of concerns. So I use Claude exclusively for work. Like my company pays for Claude. So I use Claude exclusively for the company. My personal projects and my side projects, I have a ChatGPT Plus account, and I use Codex exclusively for my side projects.
Which one do you like better?
Claude.
Okay, yeah. I found
no hesitation. Claude is gold.
I like Claude's sassiness. Hear me out, like how it's just like, It'll straight up tell you like, actually, I think this is a better idea. And I really like that. Codex, it's kind of like you tell it what you're wanting to do, and it's like, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna go. I'll do that for you. Whatever. Claude's that good coworker. Is like, yeah, I can do that, but did you really think about this? And like, oh yeah, you're good. That's a good point. So that's what I
Not
really
bad.
like about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that Claude's faster. That's why I use
Yeah.
Codex on my side projects, because I can type. I can tell my I use Super Whisperer. I could tell Codex, let's build this, or that, right? And it'll take 20 minutes to think about it. And in that 20 minutes, I could do a whole Jira ticket in Claude while this thing is just still spinning and talking about it. That's probably the only thing that I don't like about Codex is it takes way too long.
Yeah.
It feels way too long.
Sometimes Claude takes long too, but yeah.
So long.
All right. So you're in your terminal. Do you even use PHP Storm?
I use PHP Storm to review the code when it's done.
Okay. Yeah, I do the same thing with VS Code.
That's what I do. I'm comfortable in PHP Storm. I'm comfortable in my IDE. So like when it's done, it's ready. Cool. Let me look at the code in my IDE. Is this right? No, I don't think this is right. You put it in a service class again.
If you're reviewing a PR, same thing. You're like pulling in PHP Storm. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'll do it all in PHP Storm.
Okay.
It's just I know what it is. I know all the tools. It's so much faster for me to just like click around, shortcut around. Yeah. So basically, PHP Storm is not my IDE anymore. It's just my like preferred code reviewing tool.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know it's wild. Yeah, we're in that era. I've been bouncing between a bunch. I was in VS Code obviously for a while. Then I was just in Ghostly for like about a week.
Oh, so, how did you like Ghostly? I tried it. I tried it when I was trying Warp.
Yeah, I like it a lot because it's fast and it's very clean. It's very easy to navigate and fly around through there. And I like that its configuration is all like it's all custom. You can it's not just like you go to settings and you check this box or that box. It's like it's all in. You can have your own custom stuff in there. It makes it really nice. I was using Vim along with it and NeoVim, and that's where I was just like I just wanted to stay in the same window. I was getting tired of flipping between Ghosty and VS Code, so I went just to Ghosty, and then I was kind of like NeoVim just wasn't sticking for me. I was really, really trying to like just enjoy it, but I just was not. I kept having issues between Tmux and it stumbling with NeoVim, and so but then right around that time Solo came out, which is also by Aaron Francis, who we just talked about.
Shout out
Solo
my guy.
is a it's an application. It's free. And they have like a subscription model to that as well. Like you get 4 projects, and so you can work multiple projects at the same time, which that was really helpful for me working on one of our projects, but it's actually 2 separate apps. And so I can actually flip between agents between the two, and then it'll notify me when one's done. You can what's really cool is you can easily restart stuff. So like you can restart the queues and things, because one thing if like you're running queues and you have to like close out and reopen, so you can actually set these up. You can set it up to like when you boot up Solo, everything just starts up like as you should. It boots up agent, boots up your queues, like boots up whatever you want. I really like that a lot. And then I was reviewing a PR last week, and I didn't like something, so I went into planning mode, and VS Code had a really good update because Claude Anthropic, they write their own VS Code extension or plugin, whatever it is for VS Code. And they had an update to how the planning mode looks. And I was like, man, I like this a lot. It just like the panel on the side, when you finish in planning mode, when it comes up the plan, it presents it to you. It puts it in the main window, and it's so pretty how it lines things. And you can actually go in and reference things and comment on it, and then ship it back. And like so, I like that a lot. And so now it's when I've been sticking with. I'm over back in VS Code. The only thing that's really annoys me, if you can't have multiple Claude things going, like in the official Claude extension, in VS Code, you have to like open up another VS Code window or open up a little, like you have to go create another conversation, but then you have to flip between the two. I wish, there's a screenshots of Twitter of people running like 6 windows at one time. The most I ever got to was 4. I've like running 4 sessions at one time. I was working on 2 apps. One was in both of them. One thing was on the front end, one thing was on the back end, front end, back end, so but I mean that happens occasionally, but yeah, and so now I'm back on VS Code with the one pane, and so no work trees or anything like that. Do you use work trees?
I've started to dabble in them, right?
Yeah.
I've been trying out. Boss Jeff sent me this software that does work trees. I mean, I was using Conductor and that used work trees, but there's this software.
Yeah, that's because you used Conductor for a while, right?
I did. That was my introduction.
When did you leave that?
When I realized that I needed to have more than one conversation going at a time.
I thought that's what Conductor was built for. Maybe not, but
it is now. It was not back then.
It wasn't then.
Back in the
got
day.
it. Mm-hmm.
But it is now. But I'm on this. I'm trying out this new. It's called Intent by Augment Code. Have you heard of this?
No.
It is basically that, right? It comes pre-built in with like agent orchestration in it, and it's spec driven. So you create a new work tree of whatever project you're working on, and in that work tree, you could have an orchestrator agent. And it's all tied to Claude, or you could pick Codex, or you can pick you could pay for their plan and use their AI models. It's a lot like Cursor, but it's all agent orchestration. So you talk to the orchestrator, it writes a spec for you. And then it's like, okay, cool. This spec is, 4 phases, and each phase has 2 parts. So I'm going to spin up 2 agents to go through phase 1. Here's the specs, and I'm just going to pass those specs directly to that agent. And so those 2 agents just start working, and then it'll notify the orchestrator when they're done. I'm like, cool. All right, let's go on to the next phase, right? It'll spin up 2 more agents, and they'll be working on their specs. And it's really helpful to do that on like big refactors, right? Like I had one where I had a whole content pipeline written in Python as a proof of concept for a side project. I'm like, I need to write this in Laravel. So I threw that into Intent by Augment Code. It's like spin up as many dev agents, reviewers as possible, right? Just get this done, get it written in Laravel the way that I want it. And I think it spun up like 10 agents. And they all took like different parts of it, and they just started piecing it together in their own work trees. Yeah. And the best part is you could tap into an agent, and they're like, oh, this developer agent is working on the front end. You could tap into it and have another conversation directly with that agent. Like, hey, I know the spec said purple, but now I'm telling you directly that I want it to be red. And I just bypassed the orchestrator agent completely, and I could talk directly to that agent before it's done.
Nice.
So I've been using that a lot, and that uses work trees.
Does it allow Claude to be Claude, like naturally Claude, or does it kind of hijack it? You know what I mean?
It kind of
Conductor. Okay, yeah, because Conductor did that. That's what I didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to know what Claude's thinking. I don't want to know what Conductor's thinking.
Yeah. It kind of so like you can customize the agents, right? Like you can write your own developer agent, right? It's just a prompt. Like, hey, it comes pre-built with some prompts for the developer agent, but if you wanted to write your own, you could do that. So it's all right. It's very conductory, but I only use it specifically for the automatic orchestration. Like, hey, just spin up as many as you need to get this task done as fast as possible.
Looks nice.
And that uses work trees. So that's real helpful to do all that. And they've got a nice little export. So instead of committing it up to a PR and I have to review it or whatever, they have this option to export it directly to another file or another folder. So I can export all of the changes from the work tree directly back onto my herd, my main checked out branch. Just like, hey, copy paste this over here for me. Cool. I'm going to open them up in my IDE and check it out. Oh, this isn't right. I'll go back over here to Intent and I'll do whatever, re-export it back over here. So it's nice. It's nice.
Sounds very much like Conductor in some ways. Yeah.
Very, very, very. Just with like built-in or agent orchestration. That's what I really like about it.
Nice. Cool.
Man.
Been trying to. I'm sure next time we talk, I'm going to be using some new thing I might be back on solo as it continues to make updates. I feel like if I'm going to switch right now, I might go use solo again. I feel like I would probably use that more, but I don't know, man. Sometimes I just like looking at the code too, just like knowing exactly what's going on. And I know Aaron's bringing that to solo of like showing a git diff. That's it. Like that's the only thing it's missing. If it can have another panel off to the side, shows me a git diff of everything that's changed on the current branch, then I could just be like, yeah, that's wacky. There's like 3 for each loop in here, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll get there, but. Now, OpenClaw made a big buzz for a little while, which
Yeah, they did.
we have totally missed that since OpenClaw wasn't even a thing last time we talked. Can you believe that?
No,
And
I know.
now it's kind of a thing. So they're obviously like made its rounds for a bit, then it kind of died off here recently. But some people really like it and stand by it, and I wanted to check it out. I checked it out for a few days, and then I quickly realized all the security implications that it has in it. And so, but I really like the idea.
Yeah.
And so I custom wrote my own.
Oh, of course you did, Andy. Of course, of course.
It's from just a blank vanilla slate because I didn't want it to go rogue and just leak all of my environment credentials or whatever the case might be. But but I wrote my own bot. It's through Telegram, and it's directly. This is the first step of like why I didn't like OpenClaw. Like you could just message any OpenClaw bot, and it runs through like a script through AI and stuff to determine the authentication, whatever. I wanted it to like authenticate with me once, like it talks directly to me. And so I authenticated directly with my Telegram bot, and now anyone that ever messages it in the future, it just won't even like respond. It'll just immediately block them. There's no AI interaction with it. It's just like because it has that ID connection to my account. It just now because I was null before and I had a secret phrase I had to like pair it with, but now it's like so the only way that it would be kind of weird is if I lost my code base. So hopefully it never happens. But my bot's name is called Basement Dweller.
And Let me guess where it is.
Yep.
It's in your attic.
Yeah. It's an old laptop chilling in my it's my old MacBook chilling in my basement.
Very nice.
Just plugged in, the lid's closed. And so it blew my mind of like just kind of unlocking how these things can kind of work. It uses codecs. I have a codec subscription, cost me like $20 a month, but man, it definitely pays the value for it. It definitely pays for itself. But I don't even get close to I don't get close to rates or anything like that. It's all in Markdown files. So here's how it works. At the moment it connects to my Telegram, it has a soul.md. And it's the soul and the brain.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, we tell it like, you're not a chat bot. You're a person who happens to live in a computer. We're giving it the intent is to give it a personality. I don't want it to be robotic. I want it to be warm. I want it to have personality, just like a robot that I would actually want to have in my house, just something like that of like, if I'm talking to a bot, I actually want it to be friendly. I don't want it to be like, just very robotic. Yeah, I want it to have opinions. And so anyway, that was you write the soul file. And so a lot of this I read from a blog post, by the way, of like how Claude works. I kind of wrote my own, or how OpenClaw works, and that's what made me write my own. Then it has an identity. Identity is who it is. And so it's like what the name of that thing, what the robot's name is, the avatar, in my case it's a basement dweller, so it's so
you wanted to have a soul, but you named it basement dweller.
I call it BD, like what's up. Yeah. And so
okay I was gonna say like,
I'll ask
Larry. Hey Larry, how you doing down there?
All right, so I just asked it. I said, I'm podcasting about you. Anything you want to say to the people? Let's see what it says.
Yeah.
The way that it works as a memory throughout the day. Here's what it replied with. Tell them I'm doing my best work under harsh, fluorescent basement lighting, mild sarcasm, and unreasonable expectations. It says also, stop making your tools boring. If it doesn't feel a little alive, what are we even doing? Man, I love that. But I love that. It's just chilling, right? Right basement.
That's hilarious.
It has a little personality. It's the kind of the fun with it, right?
That's hilarious.
But it has a memory on it. So I wrote these skills. Like the thing also has skills. Here's the wild part. It can also write its own skills. And so through Codex, and like I can tell it to like, hey, go do this. I'll tell you a wild story here in a second, but it has these skills. One is for lights. It actually manages all the lights around my house, which is so scary. Yeah, all of my internet connected lights, like the ones outside.
Only mildly terrifying.
And so, like for example, on St. Patrick's Day, it realized it was St. Patrick's Day and it turned them green. I had like again, it has a bit of personality. So I don't
That's
know
awesome.
but
That's
most
hilarious.
of the time it's good. But it has so it has a memory, and here's the thing: it will search through its memories of like when it tells me something, or when I have opinion of, like when I personally have opinion about something, I tell it that. It kind of understands my thoughts, and then it'll understand what it's been telling me, like a kind of a chat history. It has ability to search through Twitter. This is probably the one I use the most. So on X, it'll get on there and it'll go through my timeline. It pulls up like it uses a CLI tool. It's called Bird, which is, don't actually use it. Apparently you can get banned using it for it. So, but I haven't. Yeah, we'll see. It uses Safari cookies under the hood. Yeah,
might cut that part out there, Andy boy. You don't want
we'll
you
see,
to get...
but you can use your browser. I tried using the browser thing, but
Okay.
it just doesn't work that well with reading, for being able to read and understand. It's called there's a browser called Peekaboo. That's actually written by the guy who wrote OpenClaw. But Peekaboo it can open up a browser and take a screenshot, or not just your browser, but anything on your MacBook, and it understand, like interact with it. So it has a skill with that. But for Twitter, I use just the CLI tool directly, and it pulls my timeline every 30 minutes and just tells me like, hey, like I'm looking at it now. Let's just see, like, just looking at some from this morning. Just Nuno's talking about how GitHub desktop is underrated for the agentic era and just stuff like that. I'm like, I normally would just like stuff like that I would just miss. There's so much news going on with Claude and everything right now, and it's like I miss it so easily. Like one, it's a Dave Hicking, he posted about Laravel Cloud remove its seat limit and just stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's good to know. Like I would have no idea, like, because the amount I just don't get on it much anymore, and it's just down there looking out for me. Just like, hey, it's just kind of keeping me up to date of like what's happening. So
it's like you built your own newsletter, your own personalized newsletter.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of just my own bot that I've always wanted. Now I can't go without it. So here's the crazy story. When I was building this, I just had a weekend. Lauren, my wife, she was away, and it was just me and my son. And it was the evening I was building this when he was sleeping. And then I had this idea of like, what would I use it for tomorrow, for example? And so I was just researching capabilities and stuff like that. And one thing I was asking, like, what kind of local restaurants are available around me? And it found my local Mexican restaurant that we always eat at. And it said, and so it's like, what if I wanted to order from there? I said, what do you have can you create a skill or something to like possibly order from there? And I just go pick it up. It said, oh yeah. And it wrote a skill and it connects to their website, puts in my order, and then it puts in all of our family's order as well, and then it'll tell you it's ready and go pick up. I was like, well, that's pretty wild. So it actually wrote the skill on its own. I just told it, like, I didn't get in context. Wrote the skill on its own. The next day, just my son and I, for lunch, I said, okay, so let's order the usual, and so it said, oh, done. And so it connects to their APIs, like their ordering APIs. I forget what the service they use, but it was just like some online ordering kind of thing. And I was like, did it actually work? And I was like, yep, it worked. And so, which I was like, I don't know other than just trusting the bot told me how to do it. Then I look in my email and I get a receipt like your order, like 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what? And so I didn't give it any of my credit card or anything like that. This was just like it ordered it online and I go pick it up, So,
yeah,
but so now it's just like I just tell it like, hey, we're gonna get Mexican tonight. We order the usual, and I just go pick it up. It's just bonkers. I haven't done it since then because that just blew my mind.
Damn,
but it's just like how it just writes its own skills. The one thing I've been thinking about just as an experiment, of like if I were to completely wipe it, it's just being like, just kind of like saying it to be agentic in its own way of saying, hey, your project, you're going to work on a project to start a company and produce like MMR or something, and trying to and just say, I'm going to come back daily at the end of the day or whatever to come and check in on you. You're going to give me a report, whatever, just to see how things are going and just see what happens. Just because it's purely agentic at that point. It's coming up with its own thoughts, but something I don't have time for. But occasionally it'll cross my mind of like doing something fun like that, like a pure agentic. It's kind of scary, the agentic thing of like where it thinks for itself, it makes decisions, turns your lights green on St. Patrick's Day. So it just, it's fun.
Okay, so like, so I've got a side project with Dino, our buddy Dino, and he just set up OpenClaw, and he named it Pam from The Office. So we have Pam that we talk to in I think he set it up in Telegram. I don't really talk to it, right? Like he set up all the stuff. And Pam now has that soul. Her soul lives in Google Drive, so she can look at her soul. She can edit her memories, and her memories are just marked down files in Drive. So you'd be telling her things, and she'll be like, cool, I'll remember that. And you go to Google Drive, and you'll see that memory, timestamped to today. Like, this is wild that you could do this nowadays. Like even my boss Jeff, he's set up OpenClaw on his stuff, and he's doing exactly what you're talking about. Him and his wife were like, what are you going to eat for dinner tonight, right? So they'll just have a group chat with this OpenClaw thing. He'll put some suggestions in. OpenClaw will then message his wife, say, hey, Jeff's thinking about this. What are you thinking about? And she'll message it back, and he'll message him back and then go, okay, well, OpenClaw, we suggest, based on your guys' preferences, we suggest this. You want me to order it for you? And Jeff's like, yeah, sure. Like order us 2 steaks for pickup in 30 minutes.
Just, I don't know. That's weird.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't think I'd ever get that far of like.
Well, so I was going to ask you. My wife is very anti-AI. Very anti-AI. Okay. How is your wife on the whole AI stuff? Same way?
She's like weirded out by it. How it's like.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I assumed.
And I agree with her. It's in some parts, it's like how the world's losing their creativity kind of thing. And I get it. Like, I completely agree, because it's making more people just like, just talk to the AI and see what it says. And she's like really into the creative side. She loves applications like Photoshop. And so when she sees something that's chat GPT AI, like, generated with images, she just kind of rolls her eyes,
Nasty.
So she's the same way. She just doesn't like it, so.
Okay. Because I was going to ask if your wife is also messaging if it's like a collective bot for the household.
She wouldn't want anything to do with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be interesting though. Of like, like I've heard people like that. It'll randomly text their wife, or it'll actually call them and use 11 Labs to talk to them about something very important. Like it'll use the 11 Labs voice API, come up with, it'll register a phone or something and actually call them. So it'd call them like me, for example. The bot would call me.
Yeah, that's a little creepy for me.
No, that's why I'm like, anything that I have it's agentic, but it's like a safe agentic. It's like, I have a scheduler, so I use it for like grocery lists, just anything of like, but then I thought about going. One thing I've been thinking about in a project of doing is like the grocery list thing, and giving it a list of grocery stores that I frequently shop. There's about 4 of them, and just seeing like, hey, when I go get milk, just throwing out an example, what's the cheapest one out there right now? It's just something like that. That would be a really cool idea. It'd save me money.
Yeah.
And so just like, so as I'm telling it like, hey, add this to my grocery list, and then it's also consistently telling me like what it's finding like the best rate. Something like that sounds kind of awesome. So yeah, I'm been having a lot of fun with it and just poking at it, when I have time, and just making little tweaks to it. So, and especially as we have this newborn coming, I'm just going to be depending on this thing to give me updates like of what's happening on Twitter or an AI. So yeah.
So should I set up my own? Because I have an extra laptop. Should I set up my own? Like, I don't know what I would even do with it.
I know a little bit about Python, and that's what I wrote it in, because how I even got into that is I love Python, and then for that, and then I asked Claude of like, what would you write this in? Like, what do you know best that you would just be at home with? And it's like, oh yeah, Python, let's do it. It's like, all right, yeah, we're doing Python. So it has its own, it's all written. I can share it like if you want, but it's awesome. I like it a lot, but you definitely should. Sure, man.
Okay. All right.
You gotta come up with a cool name for it though.
Well, I would name mine something stupid like Larry.
Okay. That's
or whatever.
it's like that's
know,
fun because when it pops up in my car, the first time my wife saw like, who's basement dweller? Oh, it's my
no, that's
boss.
just the guy that lives in the basement.
Just
You know
You
him.
don't know the guy? Yeah.
He's the guy who turned the lights green on Monday. God, dude, it's just wild the amount of stuff that you could do now. It's just I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to be like. If we do another podcast before your second son is born, just how much stuff is going to change between recording this today and recording that episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I can't even. The things that I thought we could do, we could do months ago. Because now people are doing that. I thought OpenClaw was going to be, that's going to be really hard to set up and whatever. But Dino's got Pam set up on DigitalOcean, on a VPS on DigitalOcean, just sitting there, doing her own thing.
Yeah, it's because a lot of people, they do the Mac Mini thing. Like DigitalOcean, I've heard of that. I wouldn't have done it if I had to make the DigitalOcean. Like I don't know, man. I just like knowing it's down there. So if something catastrophic happens, I just like pull the plug.
You unplug the damn thing.
Yeah, I was like, I see you right there. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend just dabbling in it. Write your own. Be good.
I might tinker in it.
Yeah,
I've got some ideas of things I would love for it to do. Right, like I would love some reports when I log in the morning of, hey, if you could go pull my logs, check if there were any errors on my stuff like that. Just let me know in the morning.
Yeah,
because like I use this other app called Little Bird. I don't want to get off on a big tangent, but have you heard of this app called Little Bird?
No.
It's just an app, a Mac app, and it basically just reads your screen, right? It's kind of invasive, but I've been trialing it out, and it could tell me how much work I've been doing. Like it has context of who I'm messaging, what projects I'm working on. So it's like, oh yeah, you spent 3 hours on, dev ticket 1, 2, 3, 4, and it required a lot of refactoring, and you did a bunch of this stuff. And I was like, is that
quite
data
insightful on your machine?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think.
Just sending it.
Don't call me.
You're sitting a day recording a screen recording this.
I don't know actually. I know it's like it like takes a screenshot and it'll read the screenshot or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I've been trying to swap to Raycast, and so I went to Little Bird, and it has its own little chat thing. So I was like, hey, Little Bird, based on the last month of you watching me work, what are some good Raycast extensions or automations that would,
that's a good idea.
These repeatable actions that I've been doing that would make my life easier, right? And it's like, cool, here's like 7 different things you could do. I bet you should install, this MCP because you do a lot of, GitHub stuff, right? Install a GitHub MCP and then just do all of your stuff in your terminal. I was like, it's not a bad idea, actually. Good. So I would use something like that. I would love a personal assistant type thing that would just make my life easier by just doing automation stuff.
Yeah.
But like smart enough to where I don't have to write a bunch of if statements. If the time of day is Saturday, don't send me a message.
Well, it's good. You just prompt that when Basement Dweller, when it makes a mistake, I just tell it. Like when it tells me on something, like for example, like something on Twitter I really don't care about, like politics. I'm like, just like, please don't tell me that. I really don't care. And it stores it in its memory. And so it knows like, I'm not going to tell it for the future. So yeah, it's really neat. As I explained it to my wife, it's like Siri on steroids. It's like Siri, but like it notifies you about stuff. That's like, so yeah. So it makes it fun.
All right, then I might dabble in it.
Please do. I want you to. Yeah. It's so much fun.
I try really hard not to do AI outside of work. So I feel like that might be breaking my rule, but we'll see. I'm curious about it. I've been talking.
Well, the things I use it for are mostly for work. So there's that. Like, because I just like it's hard to stay up to date with like what's happening out there. So
dude, it really is. Like I'll scroll Reddit in the morning and then I'll scroll Reddit at night and it's a completely different landscape.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
like, oh, Claude announced a new thing this morning and then Claude's announced a new thing tonight.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, I haven't even used the first thing yet.
Yeah.
Quit.
I got one more thing for you if you have time.
I got all kinds of time, baby boy.
One thing I've been working on for months now, and I've been having, like I briefly talked about top of the show, is we've been doing a ton of AI stuff at work. And so We work in insurance. We handle all sorts of different documents, police reports, things like that. And we've been trying to figure out a way to um, been able to read those. We've been using OCR for years, and OCR
Yeah.
it does pretty decent,
I'm
but
familiar.
it doesn't understand. For example, it doesn't understand like vertical columns so you have like a label at the top and then the value below it instead of a label to the left or to the right. So OCR, when you're taking a table out in OCR, everything's horizontal, and so everything's gonna be horizontal based. So if you have 7 columns of of fields, and then the next one is gonna be all your values for those 7 columns, it has a hard time of linking up what column belongs to another unless you have some really good OCR patterns, which there are some that after my discovery in this, I've found some more, but we've been trying to figure out how we can read documents that can't even be OCR'd. And then what that means is like, you know how you can go into PDF and you can copy text out and stuff like that. Well, some of these are like scanned files, so you can't even do that. And so they're like, somebody went to a scanner, put it on a scanner, sent it to us.
Right.
Police reports, stuff like that. We've never been able to read them. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with, these are documents that we can't ship to OpenAI or like ChatGPT, Cloud. We can't give them to them because there's PII in it. There's like their full names and stuff like that.
Right.
So we
Addresses.
have to keep it right. We have to keep it all on premise and in. So we've been using we've been using a service called it's open source. It's called VLLM. It's only for Linux, and so it's kind of like we can use we use Docker with it. But basically, you can. There's Olama too. You may have heard of Olama. Olama is like you can actually install on your Mac. And so I started off with.
I use it sometimes.
Yeah, I've actually started off with that. And so we use these for extraction models. And so we use Quinn 2.5 is the name of it. There's also Quinn 3, 3.5. They're fantastic. So
Quinn Coder.
Quinn Coder. Yeah, for like open code. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we use that. Started off with using my MacBook, and it has 48 gigs of video RAM. And when I was doing this, kind of in the proof of concept days, the MacBook was just humming. It was just fans were running. I've never heard the fans run, and they were running for close to 8 hours a day. And so I was like, well, we should probably upgrade. Actually, it's getting closer and closer to production. So at work, we bought this NVIDIA DGX, and it's like the size of have you seen those like microplexes or like the little bitty computers that are kind of usually for Windows? They're little square boxes. Tiny,
they're like the Nucks, I think they call them, like a Nuck machine, something like that.
They're kind of smaller. But it's the size of
about.
that, and it's by default it has Ubuntu on it, and it's 128 gigs of video RAM. It's a pricey thing, but the cool thing is it's like the size of a Mac Mini, and the cool thing is you can stack them. So you can stack them on top of each other, and you can combine the video memory. So you can go from like 128 to 256 and stack them up. So we bought one of those, and we put Quinn 3 or put Quinn 2.5 VL on it. VL is the vision language. So when I first started this journey, I thought, 128 gigabytes. We're going to be able to run the big models, the bad boys, the kind of the big ones out there. And so what I found out is they're actually kind of slow. And when you're processing thousands of documents a day, you kind of need something that's fast. And so you kind of find that sweet spot of like what's accurate and what's fast. And that's where we found Quinn 2.5 VL is kind of being that one. VL is vision, it's actually being able to visually look at it. So we send it a screenshot. Send a screenshot, be like, hey, extract the first name, last name off this report, whatever. And it's 2 seconds to process a page. It's very fast. And so we're able to fly through those documents and process. But man, I've been having so much fun with it. It's been my my programming life for the past few months, but having a ton of fun of being able to find things that we've never been able to find before through when we're extracting this information. So been a ton of fun doing that. But yeah, man, it's we're using a lot of like AI stuff, and it's been a ton of fun doing that.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. Like I love this stuff. I love it.
Yeah. the kind of the cool thing unlocked a lot for me is when you have a problem that could like an kind of thing that somebody at work does just repetitively, and you can unlock something that like when they come in and they do a task, you take original snapshot of the task, and then they do it like on the human side, and then they complete it, and then you can kind of cross verification of like things they either got missed or things that you guessed at that they actually corrected on your part. So kind of keeping the human in the loop. It's kind of like an assistant kind of way of like trying to figure out if they missed something or if the AI missed something, and just trying to learn from that process. So it's been a real eye opener from our perspective how useful it's going to be. So it's been a ton of fun, man.
So what ended up being your final? Do you still have just the 128 gig thing running Quincoder 2.5?
Yeah,
did you upgrade?
Well, we started looking. So the Quin 2.5 VL, it's a 8B, which is like 8 billion parameters. It doesn't have reasoning on it, and so it's purely for extraction. And so you can it has when I say it has a little bit of reasoning, it's not completely dumb, but it's not like if you can't make it decide between like A or B. For example, some of these police reports they're so close in detail to each other. Like the boxes will have two different parties, but you may only want one of the particular parties. And so instead of I'm not telling it like, hey, which one's the driver, which one's the passenger. I'm telling it to extract everything, like all parties on this field. And then on the PHP side, I'm kind of wrangling together like, oh yeah, that's the driver, that's the passenger, whatever. So we do a lot of that, so because it doesn't have a lot of reasoning. But in the case that you do have reasoning, if you want to categorize like how the crash happened, like kind of a summary kind of thing, you're going to need a bigger model for that. So we added a bigger model into, like, we thought we could have them side by side in Docker containers. That doesn't work. It's constantly crashing. So, or just having, installation issue or whatever might be. So we ordered another one just so they can have their own dedicated singular models on each other.
Okay.
But we also exploring, there's new models coming all the time into this month. So today's March 20th here. I think in 5 days, NVIDIA is going to have their new release for this month. Can you believe that? Just a month ago, they were outdated from having some.
It's too fast almost.
Yeah, and so we're really excited about that because hopefully Quin 3.5 will be supported. And if that's the case, Quin 3.5, they have a reasoning model, but you can kind of tweak it to turn reasoning mostly off. And then you can also has VL, which is like vision language on it. And so you can, if you bring the temperature down or like the thinking down, and you can use that for extraction, and then you can bring it back up if you want to have some crazy reasoning. So it's just one model for everything. And then, because I mentioned, I think I mentioned this, but we bought another one. So we can stack it. We have 256 gigs of video RAM, just one model for those two, and they kind of share between it. You can actually link them together, which is crazy. You can link them together, and we're hoping with that maybe that might unlock something, or it might just have their own. Each box has their own dedicated model, and so we'll figure it out. But it's wild, dude.
You start your own like AI server farm essentially.
Yeah, we have our own infrastructure of AI. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
So,
is that I assume that's at the office, right?
Like, when Lauren asked me if they're going to ship it here, I was like, I hope not, because I imagine that thing is going to cook our electricity bill.
So, I bet. Yeah. And we're getting into the summer. You don't want extra heat. Like they can come bring it in for the winter. They can keep your house warm.
Yeah. I did some analysis on it. We're cooking through like a billion. We're cooking through 1 million tokens every 10 minutes. And so if we're doing the math right, if we're using Opus, that would be like $30 an hour. And so it nearly pays for itself too. And so it's not as smart as Opus, but as the open source stuff gets better and better, it's not even gonna matter here in a bit of like, especially for the stuff like we don't need like a coding, decision kind of thing. It's more like, hey, we have this document. Please tell us what's in the document. Please kind of summarize our notes or. We're just looking to see what makes sense, but yeah,
you make it real specific to your use case, whereas Opus has to be so broad that anybody can use it.
Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. Yeah,
that's really cool, man. I'm kind of jealous. I'm semi jealous.
It's been a real joy just kind of working with it, but at the same time, it can be frustrating. Like, why is it not understanding this field? It's like it's literally right here. It just doesn't
Right.
get it, and you have to tweak these prompts. It's kind of fun. You're constantly tweaking the prompts of trying to get it to understand, and also telling it to what not to do. Just giving instruction like, don't pick up on this, don't, But then you gotta say it in a way that doesn't require reasoning, and so hopefully that won't be a problem one day because anytime you add reasoning, it's going to add an extra 10 seconds for every single document, at least. So we try to just make it quick. So it's been fun.
Well, I can't wait
Yep.
to hear in a month how many more of those you have.
We'll see. We'll turn this out. And I think they're hard to even find right now because everyone's wanting them. So because of like what I said,
I was
they
going to
pay
say
for
it's a
themselves
lot like
sometimes.
a
They're running
lot
open
like the
flaw.
Mac Minis and stuff. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen that. I mean, hell, at this point, by the time our next podcast episode comes out, we won't actually be here. I'll have my OpenClaw with
Just
my
do a podcast for you.
personality. Talk to your OpenClaw with your personality, and they'll just talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about. Like, is that a thing? I know we're going off on a side tangent, but is that a thing? Is there an AI podcast where two AIs literally just talk to each other unrestricted?
Is, yeah. Well, you could probably use 11 Labs and just AI coast your whole thing, like the whole podcast. So, yeah, it definitely possible. So, for the dear listener, I don't even know if we're real right now. It's just all AI generated. We just all the time like, let's just do AI generate this podcast, right?
I mean, that has to be a thing, right? People are going to do that. You scan your head.
Sometimes you can tell.
Save it in.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
Well, here's a fun little nugget I'll leave you with that I don't know if I've sent you this or not. It's been several months. I did generate an AI video thing with audio that has my face in it.
That. Yeah.
Did I send it to you?
That was fantastic.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to make sure that I did send that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was good stuff.
All right. Yeah. Isn't that just
maybe
wild?
Next time we talk, we'll have orbital infrastructure with LLMs. Have you heard of this? Like data centers in space with LLMs.
Oh.
So SpaceX is looking at that. Yeah, it's like they're looking at having data centers in space. Like if you think of like giant data centers in space, not that like buildings. It's not the right thing, but it's like these little ones, kind of like what SpaceX has now with what's the internet? Starlink. The
Starlink.
kind of little ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all kind of like pair together. But the idea is in space, it's cold out there, right? You don't have to worry about cooling. You just ship it up there and deal with it in space. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea. But then you have all these like little things hanging around space. So who knows? Yeah, but kind of an interesting idea. Instead of cooking, trying to find land all on the ground, it's like, I'm just going to go up to space. Yeah,
instead of wasting all the water, you just shoot up into space. Yeah, pollute the
crazy stuff,
the stratosphere.
Yeah.
More satellites.
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. You can call a show. Been a good one.
It has. It's been good talking to you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't be 3 months again before the other one. We should talk again before your next son is born.
Absolutely.
And then after that, we can talk about your new son.
We'll see. It might be holding him in hand. No, just we'll figure it out.
You'll have 3 kids. You'll have Baker, the new one, and then Basement Dweller, BD.
Yep, BD.
You got to manage all 3 of them. Yeah. Sometimes you'll change their diapers. Change BD's battery or whatever it is. But yeah, man, it's been good. Good to talk to you.
Sweet, man. You want to close this out?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you've listened this long, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll try to not wait another 3 to 4 months to put out another episode because we know just how piping hot these podcast episodes are because they're so good, right?
And they're fun. It's just good to catch up with.
Incredible. Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you guys for listening.
Peace.
Oh, I have to stop it.